suffered a broken foot. It's going to keep the Niners quarterback out for the remainder of this season. San Fran still able to hold on yesterday and beat the Dolphins 33-17. But now they're starting their third-string quarterback as the playoffs creep closer. Shannon, certainly might shuffle this NFC playoff picture. Who's in the driver's seat now, in your opinion?
I still think the Eagles, what they did yesterday was very, very impressive. They took apart the Tennessee Titans, and they looked good and do it. Jalen Hurts, I think 380 yards, had two receivers go over 100 yards receiving in that game. A.J. Brown has been a godsend, and I think that's what any team that have a young quarterback, if you want to maximize his potential, go get him a number one receiver. And you see what it's done for Tua. It's put him in the lead in the MVP discussion. And Devontae Smith has gotten even better from his rookie year to his second season. With that being said, Skip, I think the Eagles are still in the driver's seat, Skip. I was excited about Jimmy G because he understood they have weapons now. Christian McCaffrey, you see what he's doing in the offense. They hand it to him. They throw it to him. Debo is Debo. Brandon Ayuk. Jennings comes along. You still have Kittle. They had a very, very good offensive football team, and we know they just got Armstead back, but we know Nick Bosa, right now, he's the defensive player of the year, Skip. 14 and a half sacks in the last game that we saw. 2 of the 3 last games, Skip. You remember Green Bay? You was like, well, I didn't see Mike enough. Now we saw another game last night. We didn't see Mike enough. Now, when he flashes big. It's a thunderstorm.
It is.
But right now, it's not. He's like Southern California. We're not getting enough of those.
Yep.
And Nick Bosa, every time you watch him play, Skip, it's a sack. 3 sacks, 5 pressures yesterday. This team was complete. But I think it brought a lot of other teams. Dallas Cowboys said, hey, ain't no way a Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick in the NFL draft, can beat us. The Eagles are saying, ain't no way a Mr. Irrelevant can beat us. Tampa started to like, well, hey, now we got to really, Tampa goes to San Francisco. As a matter of fact, Sunday. Don't they play Sunday? I think they play Sunday, Skip.
Yeah.
They play Monday night in England.
Yeah, they have to be on a short week.
Right,
they have to fly to San Francisco.
Right.
Yeah.
And Tampa's like, well, hey, we got a chance, and we so happen to have to play them. I like our chance. Now, it might be a struggle for our defense, but, our offense could go against their defense.
Yep.
But our defense should be able to. They did a job on Tua yesterday. That defense did a job. Skip, I didn't know they had the ball for 40. They had the ball for 40 minutes to Tua's 19 minutes. I'm like, that's crazy. I mean, he's been in the system. He was 27 of 35, 210 yards, 2 touchdowns. San Francisco forced 4 turnovers. But I just think, Skip, it's brought all these other teams. The Eagles were like, they were standalone. They like, we good. But I think the Cowboys, I think the Bucks, maybe Seattle, all of a sudden they're like, well, hey, I sure would like to face them in the first round with a backup quarterback. Not a backup, the backup to the backup quarterback. So I think it's brought a lot of teams in the NFC, Skip. I still think right now it's a 2-team. For me, it's a 2-team race. I think it's the Eagles and the Cowboys.
Do you really?
I do. I think it's the Eagles and the Cowboys right now.
Woo.
For what I've seen,
I'll take that.
From top to offense, defense, special teams, I think it's the Eagles and the Cowboys.
I had no idea Jimmy G was that hurt until I'm watching NBC pregame, and I believe it was Mike Florio who said he's gone for the year.
Well, I saw when it happened. I said, oh, he done. He ain't coming back from that. I didn't know he was done for the year, Skip, but I know he wasn't coming back in the game because you see where the ankle bent.
No, I got it. But Kyle Shannon said there are multiple breaks in his ankle and foot. So, all of a sudden, the heavens opened. And I hate to see the injury gods dictate the outcome of these pro football seasons, but they just do. And all of a sudden, you know that Jerry Jones sat back and said, maybe this is my year. That's why Odell looms even larger now, is because of Jimmy G. I used to say Jimmy Gag. Now it stands for Jimmy G as in gone. He is gone for the year. And all of a sudden, the Eagles are saying, well, we thought we were the best team already, so now we are clearly the best team. Right. Even though I was grudgingly having to admit San Francisco was starting to separate from the field. That's what they were doing. And the guy they didn't want anymore, Jimmy Garoppolo, had rebounded into a viable Super Bowl-type quarterback for them. Yep. So all of a sudden, I told you earlier in the show, I watched Brock Purdy he started all 4 years at Iowa State. He's a tough kid. He has a decent arm. He has decent athletic ability. He will fight. He will scratch. He will claw. Kyle Shanahan will put him in the best positions to do what he does best. But he is a raw rookie, and there's a reason nobody wanted him until the final pick of the draft.
Right.
I was a little surprised he lasted that long, and I thought he was a good pick for San Francisco at that point, just to have him because it's like a gift pick.
Right.
And now he's going from Mr. Irrelevant to extremely relevant.
Skip, you're not anticipating. You got the guy. You're not anticipating him ever having to play.
Well,
it's great for scout team, some mop-up duty or something like that.
I know, but you're anticipating Trey Lance was your future because you gave your whole world for him, right?
Skip, the Eagles, but Skip, I don't think we didn't do, the Eagles, how impressive they were. They beat a team that had won 7 of their 9 games, and they held Kansas City and Cincinnati to 20 points. They haven't given up more than 20 points since week 3. And the Eagles went and got 5 touchdowns against them in the blink of an eye. And Sirianni pulled his starters in the 4th, with Jalen Hurts having 3 touchdowns and 380 yards.
Yep.
So that lets you know the firepower that they possess, because they went on the road and held Kansas City to 20. And they did that. Remember, what Willis was their quarterback. Tannehill was hurt that game.
Yep.
And then last week, they lost to Cincinnati.
Yep.
20 points. Mm-hmm. So it lets you know they have a very good defense and they can put some points on the board. And the Eagles took them apart. Skip, right now, the best team in football is the Philadelphia Eagles, regardless of conference. We can say NFC, AFC, who's the best in AFC? The best football team is the Eagles.
Okay. So you are ready to acknowledge that Jalen Hurts has taken over the MVP
Yes.
over Patrick Mahomes.
He has, absolutely.
Last week, we weren't here last week, but 2 weeks ago, you were very strong. Okay, so life has changed dramatically.
Oh, yeah, this thing,
right?
it could change again, but right now, Jalen Hurts is in the lead for the MVP.
I know I've had Jalen Hurts there for a month, but Tua is not in the conversation anymore for me.
Right.
After yesterday.
Because even all the betting houses had Patrick Mahomes was the betting favorite. Now, it'll be very interesting to see today, tomorrow, what the betting houses. I bet it's flipped.
Okay. I believe my Cowboys are perfectly positioned to make a deep run. I had them before the year going to the NFC Championship game. I give them a little better shot now to get to the Super Bowl because, to me, they're as good as Philadelphia is. I love Jalen Hurts. I fear Jalen Hurts.
Right.
The day he was drafted, I said they just stole Jalen Hurts in the second round because of his football backbone, his character, his leadership, his big game ability, his big play ability. He has become the lead. He has changed their culture this year. That's why I thought he was the MVP starting a month ago. I think he is separating now as MVP. Now it comes down to how good will San Francisco be with Brock Purdy? And now it sounds like Baker Mayfield is about to be out and hit the waiver wire in Carolina.
Yep.
And Ian Rappaport of NFL Network is reporting that it's possible San Francisco would make a claim on Baker, depending on how he falls through the waivers. But would Kyle take Baker Mayfield just on sheer experience and try to mold him into what they do on offense? It's possible.
If anybody can get him to maximize his potential, it's Kyle. Because they're going to run the football. He's athletic enough to do a lot of skip. They do a lot of the boot, do a lot of stuff on the run, a lot of misdirection. And if Baker Mayfield has any ability to maximize, Kyle Shanahan can maximize it.
I would agree with that. And I think he would be a little better, if not a lot better, than Brock Purdy would be at this point, just because. And again, I like what Brock Purdy is made of, and he played in a lot of big games. Unfortunately, they were at Iowa State.
I think the thing is, Skip, a lot of times what coaches and coordinators, what they try to do, they like the young quarterback because he hasn't developed any bad habits.
That is true.
So I can mold him the way I want to. A lot of times you get these old veteran quarterbacks, they have their habits, they have the ways that they're set in, and it's hard to break old habits. At least Brock Purdy, he ain't really got I don't know how much a God-given ability he had enough to make an NFL team, but he has some ability. So the question is, for Baker Mayfield, it's a very humbling experience. You got traded for basically a bag of marbles and some mothballs.
True.
And now you're about to skip that. I mean, being released, does something to your ego. It does something to your ego. It does. Sure, I mean, when the team doesn't want you, it bothered Tom Brady that Coach Belichick said, "No, we good, bro. We moving on."
Crushed him. Agreed.
Peyton.
Yep.
When they released Peyton. I don't think Peyton has been back to Indy twice to play, and when they put the statue up.
No, he's Bronco for life.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He lives in Denver.
It does something to you. I've been released. It does something to you.
Yep. No, I got it. So it'll be very interesting to see if Kyle will say, I can figure out Baker, because the first guy Kyle will contact about this or approach would be McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And he'll say,
what type of guy is he?
Yeah, what is he? McCaffrey seemed to get along pretty well with him, and ironically, weirdly, maybe fittingly now, Baker's favorite target as a receiver was McCaffrey. Yeah. He threw him the most big balls.
Well, if Christian is anything like his dad, he don't care. His dad just wanted to play football. He don't care who's playing quarterback. You throw the ball, I'm gonna do my job, and I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna go home and do. But Skip, like I said, I think everybody was starting to be bullish on the 49ers because they saw how that defense. They held Miami, Skip, to 0-7 on third down.
They did.
0-7, had 308 yards, and Tyreek had 150 of that. Of the 308, Tyreek had 150. We know how dynamic he could be. But Tua just looked off yesterday. A lot of bounce passes to Waddle, had Waddle open several times. Waddle's like, well, damn.
I agree.
Like 8 foot tall, bro.
I agree. I've never been